Now, this may come as a surprise to you like it did to me, but apparently, Disney's The Jungle Cruise was just released in China. Can you guess how it performed? Let's not confuse The Jungle Cruise with The Jungle Book. Although, let's be really honest, they've remade The Jungle Book how many times now, and will probably do so again. No, this is The Jungle Cruise. The Jungle Cruise stars The Rock and Emily Blunt. Now, I have nothing against either one of these actors. I actually thought Emily Blunt has crushed it in that recent horror series that she's been in, which I saw in the theater twice. The Rock, I'm going to be honest with you, I think he peaked around The Scorpion King, and everything else since then is kind of So the information we're about to review comes from The Hollywood Reporter, and of course, this modern take on The Jungle Book, which apparently is more about the ride that was at Disney, which is no longer at Disney because it's not politically correct and it offends people to have rides now. This movie cost $200 million to make. It made $3.3 million in China. Now, it's important to remember when a studio like Disney releases a movie in China, they have to grease the wheels. They have to sort of fluff the controlling party. And as a consequence, they pay these, I would say, borderline extortionist levels of, air quotes, tribute to that ruling party and walk out of the game with only about maybe 15-20% from what I've heard. Again, that's what I've heard. You could call it speculation, but I think that's pretty close to the mark. So if you've only made $3.2 million on something that cost you $200 million to create, and that's not including marketing, advertisements, which is usually equal to, if not double, the original production budget, you have really underperformed. I'm going to go on the high side. I'm going to say $3.4 million. Subtract the overhead, air quotes, for the ruling party. You end up with $680,000 from the Chinese market on your opening weekend. Now, that's just my estimate using a 20% take for Disney. Context, as ever in any situation, is important. If we look at what's going on in that big old red country that's led by somebody who looks like Winnie the Pooh, they're having a coup thing again right around the time that The Jungle Book was released there. So does that have an impact on butts and seats? I don't know. Maybe. What do we believe these days? The article spins it and says, hey, you know what? Of those few people in China who did see it, they raved about it online and in social media sites there, as if that has any tangible value at all. Now, if you're asking yourself, hey, didn't Jungle Cruise come out like 6 months ago? You're right. Yes, it did. Now, here's the numbers on that. When it originally opened here in the United States, it pulled about $35 million at the box office, and then also another $30 million on Disney Plus. You know, that's where you pay $30 for a digital copy that you don't actually own. And if you quit Disney Plus, you can't access it. Now, many others have said the same thing, but if you like something, buy it on physical media. I'm just saying, if you're going to go watch a subpar movie based on a freaking ride, which again, they're ripping out of their theme parks because it's not culturally sensitive. Oh God, you know what I'm talking about. We've all been seeing this for the last how many years? Why wouldn't you just get a used DVD of this thing? The Hollywood Reporter is reporting that the film did earn $215 million worldwide so far. So again, let's go back to our math. $200 million to make, about that same amount, if not double that, in marketing costs. About $400 million that you need to recoup. It actually, sitting where we are today, has only made $215 million since its release. So here's a fascinating thing to file away. Based upon what we've seen with Disney, what are we looking at here? Maya the Dragon, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, which didn't even get released, The Eternals, which didn't even get released there. That's not a very good batting average. Based upon that, and this is quoting the Hollywood Reporter, quote, reflecting the increasingly dire distribution difficulties for Hollywood in China, no major U.S. studio is currently scheduled for an upcoming release in the country, unquote. So file that one away, folks. Fascinating stuff. Is the worm turning? Are things changing? Do you think maybe Hollywood would value what was their essential core audience, in North America, Europe? Is there anything we can do about it? Yes. We can continue to vote with our wallets. What did we just see at the last Disney earnings meeting? It's working. So there it is. To the shock of no one, Jungle Cruise was not a winner in any sense of the word. As ever, this is Salty Texas Sea. My name is Corey DB. I appreciate you watching. If you liked what you've seen, please give me a thumbs up and consider sharing the video. You have an awesome day.